This is a story about a kiss. Not just any kiss, mind you, but a kiss that was unscripted, unexpected, and utterly life-altering. It wasn't supposed to happen. There was no plan, no rehearsal, no foreplay. It just occurred, and with it, everything changed. Before that fateful day, my life was like a well-worn path in the woods, predictable and safe. Then came the kiss. And suddenly I found myself on a hiking trail I had never seen before, full of thrills, challenges, and breathtaking vistas. But the strangest part of it all, the kiss led me back to this very same spot, only now from a completely different direction. It was as though the universe had orchestrated this grand surprise, a secret it had been holding on to just for me. It all started on an ordinary Saturday. I was working at my usual shift at the local bookstore, surrounded by the comforting scent of aging paperbacks and the quiet murmur of turning pages. The bell above the door chimed, announcing a customer, and I looked up to see him standing there, framed in the open doorway. The sunlight streaming in behind him illuminated his features, making him look like he'd stepped out from the pages of a novel. I couldn't help but stare. He was tall and lean, with a dusting of freckles across his nose and a shock of unruly dark hair that fell over his forehead. His eyes were the color of the sea after a storm, deep and intense, and they seemed to hold a universe of stories within them. A shy smile played on his lips, revealing a dimple in his left cheek that could have been carved by Michelangelo himself. I wanted to speak, to ask him what he was doing here, or to invite him to explore further into the labyrinthine shelves of our store. But the words caught in my throat, and all I could do was stare. He stood there for a moment, taking in the surroundings, and then his gaze met mine. In that instant, something sparked between us, an inexplicable connection that transcended words. He approached the counter, his steps measured and confident, and when he was close enough, he did something that took my breath away. He leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't a fleeting peck, but a deep, soul-stirring kiss that seemed to last an eternity. His lips were soft yet firm, his tongue teasing, his breath warm on my skin. I wanted more, needed more, but he pulled away as abruptly as he had leaned in, leaving me breathless and confused. My fingers twitched, wanting to reach out to touch him, but I hesitated, unsure of what to do. He spoke then, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through me. "That was amazing. Can we do that again?" Before I could reply, he was gone, disappearing into the maze of bookshelves, leaving me alone to grapple with the implications of what had just happened. A customer, startled by my stunned silence, asked if he could help me find anything. I shook off my daze and managed a smile. "No, thank you," I said, my voice sounding strange to my own ears. "I'm fine." The rest of my shift passed in a blur. I went through the motions, helping customers, shelving books, all the while thinking about the kiss. What had it meant? Was it a mistake? Should I find him and ask? But where would I even begin to look for someone I didn't know? As the evening wore on, the idea of finding him became an obsession. I thought about the stories I read every day, tales filled with chance encounters and unexpected love stories, and wondered if maybe my story was taking shape too. When my shift ended, I lingered by the door, hoping to catch another glimpse of him, but he didn't return. Disappointment settled in my chest, heavy and unwelcome. I locked up the store, the echo of the click of the lock resonating the finality of his absence. That night, sleep evaded me. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the memory of the kiss replaying in my mind over and over. The scent of his cologne, the feel of his lips on mine, the sound of his voice, all of it was seared into my memory. Days turned into weeks, the memory of the kiss becoming a bittersweet ache in my heart. I went about my life, but a part of me was always wondering if I would ever see him again. The thought of him became a constant undercurrent in my thoughts. Then, unexpectedly, He walked back into my life, quite literally. I was shelving books in the same section where our paths had first crossed when I heard a familiar laugh. I turned, and there he was, striding towards me with that same easy confidence. He stopped in front of me, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Fancy meeting you here," he said, extending a hand to tuck a wayward strand of hair behind my ear. The gesture was so natural, so intimate, that I felt my breath hitch. It's been a while," I stammered, my fingers lingering on his arm, seeking the warmth I knew was there. He smiled, his dimple deepening. "Too long," he said softly, and then he did it again. He leaned in and kissed me, capturing my lips in a kiss that was both familiar and new. It was as though the weeks of longing had distilled the essence of our connection, making this kiss even more profound. In that stolen moment, amidst the towering shelves of our little bookstore, the world shrunk until it was just us, suspended in the bubble of our shared desire. After he left, my life shifted on its axis. We started seeing each other regularly, spending hours talking, laughing, exploring hidden cafes and bookstores. It was a whirlwind romance, exhilarating and terrifying in equal measure. One breezy afternoon, as we were strolling through the park, he stopped beneath a tree laden with ripe apples. He turned to me, his eyes earnest. "I haven't been honest with you," he said, his voice unusually serious. My heart sank. "What do you mean?" He took a deep breath. "My name isn't actually—" He paused, then said it. The name that had become synonymous with the kiss that had changed everything. And in that moment, the world spun anew, aligning the stars in a way that only made sense in retrospect. You see, the kiss hadn't just changed my life. It had bridged two destinies, weaving a tapestry of fate that neither of us had seen coming. His name, it was a beacon, a guide, a testament to the power of that one moment. And as I looked into his eyes, I realized that the universe had orchestrated this, ensuring that the story we were writing together began with that fateful kiss. A kiss that defied script, a kiss that redefined destiny.